Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. It's another Friday, same old tiny hat. We've got an amazing show today because Alex Jones is on. You might think, well, I've seen enough of Alex Jones. What else is there I could possibly know about Alex Jones? But what does Alex Jones tell you about our culture? What does he tell you about news media? What does he tell you about censorship? What does he tell you about perjury, litigation, lawfare, the necessity for sensitivity when speaking in an ad hoc fashion about extremely contentious and difficult subjects, the necessity sometimes for mea culpas, contrition, compunction, Christianity, so many C words, baby. Alex Jones will be with us in a few minutes. If you're watching us on YouTube, remember we're only there for the first few minutes precisely because of the issue of censorship. Remember, this is the world's most dangerous man, the establishment's most hated person, the single most censored man in history, the first media figure to be erased in one day, deplatformed before it was a common term, and not just deplatformed, sued, attacked and criminally charged. What did he do that was so wrong? Obviously, he said things that were pretty appalling, particularly if you're a parent. What were they appalling? He said that Sandy Hook didn't happen. That's what he said. And the Sandy Hook families were obviously upset about that. But do you think what drives these legal cases is the transgressive things that he said and how that hurts people's feelings? Or do you think that it's possible he has views that deeply rattle the people who run America? Is Alex Jones crazy? Is Alex Jones fundamentally right about a lot of things? Is he both? Why do they really want to shut him down? One thing I'll remind you of is that he predicted 9/11. That's the thing that I struggle to get by. Imagine, almost anybody that prior to 9/11 said, Osama, there's this guy, Osama bin Laden, you've not heard of him yet, but the CIA are going to blame him for attacks on the World Trade Center. And then that happened. Jesus. Anyway, we talk about all of that and the deep state and Tucker and Rogan and who's next, the Clintons, nuclear war. All of this has been up, by the way, on Locals for 1 week. Right now, you could watch our Jonathan Rumi conversation. Jonathan Rumi, who plays our Lord and Savior in The Chosen. Here's my conversation with Alex Jones. We'll be with you for a couple of minutes, guys, on YouTube, but then it's Alex Jones. We're not going to keep him up for very long because, he's Alex Jones, damn it. All right. Let's have a look at that conversation. Alex Jones, thanks for joining us.
Russell, it's great to be here with you. It's such a critical time.
Alex Jones, it's actually happening. InfoWars is being shut down. The FBI appear to be involved. The CIA appear to be involved. Can you tell us, do you see this as a pivotal moment? If they can come for you and take you down, if they can reclaim your assets, does that mean that this is the first domino, that next it's Tucker, then it's Rogan, that this is, in a sense, the beginning of a series of attacks that will shut down the free speech space?
Well, that's right. What they're doing to me is a beta test for everybody else. And I'm just blessed they're doing it because it shows we've been on the right side of history, on the right target. But if I told you what happened, the FBI went in court, admitted they're running it. They have the CIA guy that got caught by Project Veritas spinoff group admitting it all. That's all well known now. But what are we saying they're so scared of? We love God. We love humanity. We love freedom. We love justice. So yes, our message is scaring the system. So they're trying to shut us down right now. And as bad as this is, I am extremely blessed to be in this position right now. So yeah, I'm more concerned about why is the deep state trying to shut me down right now? Is it a Trump assassination? Is it World War III? Is it economic collapse? I don't know. But definitely big stuff's coming because they're so desperate to shut us down right now. It's a long story, but 2 weeks ago, they tried to, without a court order, with the CRO and the bankruptcy gets into law, shut us down without a court order. Now there's a court hearing tomorrow. They may shut us down tomorrow. But there is a desperation to shut us off because they don't want us on air when we cover what is about to happen. So I don't think about me, which I'm fine. I love talking about me, but I'm not dumb. This isn't about me. Something big is about to happen. Why are they so desperate to get me off air?
So you feel it's because of your ability to report and offer insights into stories that they're having to expedite and speed up this process. So we should all hold our breath for something terrifying, which is, I don't even like thinking in those terms, Alex. I really don't. I deal with enough anxiety. But can you tell me how this unfolded, how we went from the sort of trial that we all saw where it was about compensation for the victims of Sandy Hook? And I've reported on this before. In a sense, like the way this has been reported on is not that you said some things that were insensitive and untrue about Sandy Hook. It's almost been portrayed as if you did Sandy Hook. That's the kind of like the way that the messaging has been kind of confused and mangled, the way that these kind of, the way these stories play out in the public sphere. How have we gone from that to we're claiming all of your assets? Is it true they're taking your archives? Who would ultimately own InfoWars in this instance?
Well, that's a great Russell Brand 2.0 cut right to the chase. They bragged after they won these two court cases where the judges already found me guilty 2 years ago in Texas and Connecticut in controlled jurisdictions. The judges found me guilty. They had show trials with HBO literally producing it, the Truth versus Alex Jones, scripts to the judges. It was all literally a movie script, a movie scene. And so now they first said, he's got hundreds of millions of hidden money. That wasn't true. Then they went, okay. And now they were in Reuters last week saying, we don't want money. We want him off the air. So they're finally being completely honest. So because they won't do a settlement and because all this is unfolding, the judge can shut us down tomorrow. He may wait a few weeks. We'll find out tomorrow. But Russell, that's where we are, is pure desperation by the power structure. And so it's very simple. Sandy Hook is like a franchise, a money-raising thing, a Democratic Party fundraising deal. I barely ever even talked about it, never even said the things that they said I said. I have a right to say those things. I didn't say those things. So they basically built up this thing of, well, we've got a populist that's anti-globalist, is very popular. We'll just say he's doing all these things he didn't do, pissing on graves, harassing families, doing all this. And then they get $1.5 billion judgment. They ask for $2.76 trillion. Folks, I know that doesn't sound real. Just type in Alex Jones, $2.76 trillion. They ask as if I ever had $10 million, just to create this wall of hysteria and fear. And so now they're trying to take me off air right now with 140-something days left of the election. They're trying to panic everyone because they're scared of populism. They're scared of the people. They're scared of archetypally Joseph Campbell, the great psychologist Carl Jung, off what I represent. So they believe if they can defeat and annihilate and tar and feather that populist image, somehow will infect everything else. But instead, it has turbocharged the show of 30, 40 million viewers a day. We're as big as we were 6 years ago before all this started. And so now they are in complete panic mode. And 2 Fridays ago, so 13 days ago, I'm up here at 5 o'clock. I'm about to go home to my wife and family. And I notice there's more security here. I have a private security firm, but they're under the CRO, the bankruptcy. I said, what's going on? They go, we don't know. At 9 o'clock, they're locking the doors. They're going to kick you out. Well, I called my lawyers. They said, no, the CRO can't do that under law. Stop it. So I said, don't do it. They said, yeah, we don't have a court order. We're not going to. So they were so desperate. They might have been trying to assassinate Trump last week. I don't know. But the point is, something was supposed to happen in the last 13 days that they wanted me off the air. I'm not dumb enough to think, oh, this is about me. No, this wasn't about me. Desperate, hysterical insanity to get me off the air the last 2 weeks, outside of court orders, was about something bigger, maybe a war. I don't know, but clearly it's not about me. But in their mindset, in this nexus, they thought I was going to say or do something when this next event happens that could block them, and that's what I do. So my only real power is that I understand politics, the world, how systems work to a little extent, most and most, but not that much. I'm not trying to say I'm a grand poobah, but I've got an understanding. So to me, it's not, oh, I'm so important. It's like, if they're so desperate to shut me down, what are they planning? So that's where we are now. And we could be shut down tomorrow. The judge has said he may do it. But this is so crazy. The plaintiffs, the Democratic Party that runs all this, said to Reuters, AP, and a bunch of other publications last week, they said, no, we don't want money. We want to shut him down. And so, again, I asked the question, okay, I reach 20 million people a day, 30 million some days. Why are they so desperate? To me, I don't think of me. I think, why are they so desperate, Russell?
Well, it's a big question. In the event that if they take your studio, it seems like it's about taking your assets and taking your studio, slowing you down and preventing you from broadcasting. It's a very strange time. The Trump trial appears to have been built of a coagulation of misdemeanors, a couple of alterations in state law, the eventual and inevitable imprisonment of Steve Bannon, all important right-wing or popular, political or commentative figures are being attacked using the law. Few months ago, I experienced my own attacks. It seems like any institution is viable as a conduit for attack. And now I'm, like you, wondering what's coming. Do you think that ultimately behind this is the CIA, as we saw in that video where we saw that CIA operative saying, yeah, they want to drain his resources, they want to bankrupt him? We saw that. That's sort of something that was on camera. And it's weird that when we get those things on camera that they don't have a greater impact. I know they reach a lot of people and I think they galvanize a lot of people, but it seems that they don't have any kind of legal weight, that you're not able to use them in order to oppose this stuff. What means of opposition do you have here, Alex? What strategy do you have? How are you going to protect your archive? Because I've heard that they're coming for that. And do you feel like incarceration is a serious and immediate risk?
Well, Russell, that's a great question. There's a lot of points there. Again, I just go back to, they wouldn't be so hysterical trying to shut me down if something big is about to happen. So they want me off air because something big is about to happen. And I'm asking, what is that big event about to be? But yeah, they're trying to shut down the archives. They're saying, they told me, the court-appointed people that said 2 days ago, they said, you're on air saying you have this archive that's free of all our shows. We've always been free. Stop that. That's a crime. Well, it's not. It's always been free to air. So they don't want our archives that predict all this stuff. I mean, there's incredible predictions there. And we know evergreen stuff is really powerful. So they're really scared of what people are going to dig out of that. And that's really why they wanted to shut me down, because reading their own white papers and interviewing top experts and doing this, 14 hours a day and being focused, we have basically predicted what was going to happen. So they're already worried with billions of views of my predictions. Well, they go and they watch these predictions. They know that there's gold there in the fight. So they are hysterical to shut us down because they say that victors write the history books. Well, they're getting ready to write the history books. They don't want records there that expose them. And I appreciate all the support, and I love everybody, but I want people to nothing about Alex Jones. They should be thinking, what is it they're about to do that they're so insanely desperate? That's really where I'm at right now, because this is crazy. Outside of a court order, 13 days ago, they ordered the shutdown of our company and tried to order my private security company, I heard like 7 years ago, to close the doors. And they didn't do it. There was no court order. So they are hysterical. So we go, oh, great, our enemy's hysterical, they're weak. But the fact that they're so weak is what makes them dangerous. Why are they so hysterical?
Like, if it is about preempting some significant event, I'm guessing you're saying it's likely that it pertains to the election. I've heard you say before that you feel like the election might get cancelled, that there could be a race war in your country, that there could be some other reason to delegitimize or derail the electoral process. If that were to happen, wouldn't it be reported on by Joe Rogan or Tucker Carlson or other people in the space? Why would it be so significant to remove you and your archive? I'm not being facetious, Alex. I know that there are a lot of things that are unique about you, but so it's surely in the uniqueness that the significance must lie, because any of us could report, all of us would see. What do you think? What's your intuition on that?
Well, Russell, I'm always blown away by your insight. I'm not just saying it's true. What an incredible response to what I just said. Generals always fight the last war. So if in 2016, and I didn't even know this at the time, but they've said this, and it's true, we had the RNC in Cleveland, and a third of the people out there, hundreds of thousands, were wearing my shirts. We sold like 500,000 T-shirts the month before it. I was selling them at cost. So the Democrats go there, the deep state goes there, and they see a third of the people wearing my shirts. They're fighting the last war. So they think if we shut down Alex Jones, we've shut down Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Jimmy Dore, all the thousands of other amazing voices. And so, yeah, they're not that smart spiritually. They attack whatever their last enemy was. So I agree. I'm almost obsolete, redundant, vestigial, ceremonial. But I feel like I've got a little more work to do to warn people about the next front, because I don't want to keep doing this forever. I want to go live on a ranch and just fish all day and drive around and, shoot guns and barbecue. But exactly, they're worried about me. They're fighting the last enemy, which they say generals always fight the last army. So I think that's the answer, is I'm kind of blessed. They're spending all this time and energy on me while there's all these other, and then I have the paradox of, well, you shouldn't tell them what's really happening. But that's my superpower, is telling the truth. So they're like, don't give the enemy intel. Don't tell them what's happening. They're not going to listen to me anyways. They always are Machiavelli. They think if I say the sky's blue, I must be lying. So to me, I know what's happened. They know we beat their ass before, Bubba the people. So they're thinking, beat him, we win. But meanwhile, it wasn't me spurring all these people. It's people waking up on their own. So they're fighting a Pyrrhic victory. They're fighting a battle they already lost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that kind of does. I mean, I suppose one of the moments that was most bizarre and defining when Trump took to the White House was his public call with you. That's when I think a lot of people kind of recognize, whoa, politics is changing, media is changing, power is changing. You weren't in the position you're in now, but you were already a person that people had attacked and derided, and people had said this guy's crazy and a conspiracy theorist. And to see you lauded in that way is obviously an indication of great power. And your point that generals fight the last battle is clearly a significant one. The media space is changing so rapidly and has continued to change. Even when you see like a cultural artifact that doesn't contain much import in terms of what it literally symbolizes, literally symbolizes a bit oxymoronic, but I mean, to see Trump with Logan Paul, you think, wow, the world's different now, man. The world is different. And the machinery of the establishment, and I know a lot of your viewers and a lot of mine will say that, well, hold on, a candidate from the Republican Party who's already had 4 years in office is part of the establishment by virtue just of that small inventory of ideas. My audience love Trump. I know your audience probably significantly love Trump. So it seems to me that on a global scale, Alex, maybe things are stepping up. Maybe this is to, do you see it as being connected to the Russian submarines in the Caribbean? Do you see it connected to the failure of the WHO treaty? Do you feel like what this precipitates...
No, I totally agree.
Before we answer that question, we're going to have to leave you on a digital cliffhanger and say goodbye to YouTube. It's really worth joining us over there for the rest of this extraordinary chat. My favourite bit is coming up in a moment. Alex Jones going full Alex Jones. Click the link in the description, come on over and consider becoming an Awaken Wonder, where you get access to all this content a lot earlier, as well as our book clubs and our meditations and a variety of other things. See you in a second.